Hey, everybody. Michelle is back on this Monday. I just had my, what I consider my breakfast lunch. I eat anytime I want, and I usually eat all day long, snacking on something, usually pecans or pecans. And I love fruit, snacking on fruit all day long. But I told you, for a while, there's always been an aftertaste. No matter where I've gone, no matter what stores I've been in, certain fruits that I like have always left me with some type of aftertaste in my mouth. And I know a lot of people may not be recognizing that, because you remember some people are going to be adversely affected by COVID, and they may lose a certain amount of their sensing, especially smell and taste. Just consider it. I use a lot of peppermint in my environment because peppermint helps to keep a lot of critters away. You're gonna have critters like spiders, ants, roaches, flies. When I was in my home, I had all of that, and I don't have an issue with insects at all. But I don't want you in my house, right? Come on now, get your ass outside. And so that's what I do. I use peppermint because peppermint helps to keep them outside, or at least keep them out of my unit here. Because I do keep things clean, but sometimes it has nothing to do necessarily with cleanliness. It's just that insects are just as confused as we are. We're invading their properties, and so they need to go somewhere, just like everything else. We're disturbing the planet. And in time, we're going to realize that, down the line. When I say we are going to realize it, what I mean is the future, as well as your children, your descendants. All right, quite that early. Because I told you certain events that should have happened a million years in the future are going to be happening a million years now, per se, at a certain point. I look at the trees and the flowers, and I can see there's exhaustion. I can see it. But they do, they're starting to respond to me over here in this neighborhood. When they're moving around and shaking, when there's no wind, that means they're responding to you. Okay? So anyway, I wanted to come on through and talk about, I talked about GMOs the other day, and the importance of opening our minds to that on an impersonal basis, suspending your ego, your beliefs. Just as everything else, we're going to have to cultivate our food differently. And we're not going to be able to eat the same way because we're consuming poisons. And it's not that we're not going to be able to eat the same way. Our bodies are not going to keep allowing us to do that. That's all I'm saying. Our bodies are not going to allow us to keep feeding ourselves with poison. Otherwise, you're going to get sick, with this or that and the other. Certain parts, certain organs are going to start shutting down, and this and that and the other. All you got to do is pay attention to what is prevalent now. And a lot of it also has to do with interference. I'm telling you, a lot of people don't like to hear this as well, but we have these so-called scientists hiding in labs all over the world, all over the country, underground, in caves, however, wherever they want to be, in pyramids, that are fooling around with DNA technology, okay, and interfering with the natural process of human development, right? Of course, you're supposed to go in there and make progress that benefits everybody, not just a selected few. Yes, you're supposed to go in there and, again, like I asked the other day, what is a scientist? Okay? And a scientist, again, is a person. Is this the one? Well, let me go to this one. I always like to go to a particular one. A scientist is a person who researches to advance knowledge in an area of natural sciences. And natural sciences consist of, one of the branches of science. Is concerned with the description, understanding, and prediction of natural phenomena. Okay? And it's not in it's I mean, are you supposed to go in there and create designer babies or designer people, superior? Because I told you, our DNA, okay, whoever stores DNA, they all have all of our DNA. They just want to give us the illusion by having us sending these kits that they need our permission. They know all of our DNA. All right, they collect our blood enough when we go to these clinics, which I call our labs, where they are always collecting your blood. What are they doing with your blood? Some of it has been advanced as far as when they collect your blood. They know now if you have a deficiency in certain vitamins and minerals, and trace elements. But yes, scientists, some that are in the field, because there's a lot of them in this field of wanting to understand the biology of a human being. And more so, they want to know about the brain of the human being. Okay? One person finally admitted it, that was his whole intentions, was to map it's all about the brain. It's all about the brain of the human being. And they want to mimic it. But more so than anything, they want to control it. They want to know how to control human beings, to have them acting as will. Some in the where the ones in the pyramids are the ones controlling things, and they want to be able to instantly, with command words, with medication, with any type of interference possible, to control humanity, control the population. Okay, that is what it's all about. If you're paying attention and using, like I said, if you take yourself personally out of it, you ought to be able to see it. It's in plain sight. It's all about control. And if you meditate on clear sight, just everything's clear, no interference, no agenda. You're just, you're there, you're meditating. You're gaining control of yourself. And once you do that, it's almost like, whoa, the sensations of it all. When you realize that you're in control of everything, you have the self-will or the free will. So I'm having fun with what I'm doing, believe it or not. They say scientist is a person who researches to advance knowledge in the area of natural sciences. What else it has here? Whatever field they choose, whether it's philosophers, psychology, science, theologians, they astronomy, not zodiac signs. And I told you Aristotle, they bestowed him as one of the top, but he's made mistakes too, right? Let me just, not to say that he intentionally made mistakes, but he put out theories and opinions, which mean what? Not a goddamn thing. But his theories and opinions, just like every other person's theories and opinions, require discussion and conversation, however, forever. Okay? There is no such thing as that my theories and opinion mean more than anybody else's theories and opinion. Your theories and opinion mean not a goddamn thing. I made that clear in the beginning when I started doing these videos over a year ago. That my theories and opinion don't mean a goddamn thing. But I am allowed to put my theories and opinions out for discussion if necessary. Or to what? Swipe, baby, swipe. There's a million plus of people out there talking and sharing their stories. And I love it. Okay? Because their word ought to be their bond. Right? And it will be in the future. And that will determine whether they were telling the truth or not. And a lot of people are going to get exposed. And that's what's also joyful to me, is that some of these actors and performers have finally, and that's whether they are entertainers or not, okay, whether they are cult leaders or cult members or not, a lot of them are going to be exposed, okay? A lot of these other ones that call themselves gurus and teachers, masters, lecturers, I don't know-it-alls, they're going to get exposed because they were intentionally lying, actually, and don't have any experience to back up what they're talking about at all. No experience. And you need experiences. And I'm not going to keep saying that. And I want to make that clear to my young ones too. And they know that it's not about just sitting in the classroom reading a book. Okay, you need to get out in nature. Get out with human beings and develop yourself properly so that you don't end up like some of these oh my gosh, intentional consciousness terrorism type of personalities, where their whole intention is to create superiority, number one, but sit up in the pyramids and bark out command words and dog whistles and get people all on edge, and using fear tactics and fear words and indoctrinating them, telling them that they want to be the ones that are the experts, the so-called experts, and nobody needs to be listening to anybody else. That's what they want. They want your complete, undivided attention. So a lot of these so-called scientists, created some great things for technology, for humanity, but they were all welcome. You all were used to weaponize society instead of advancing society. Okay? A lot of these scientists were naive. Okay, because what was happening is they were operating in secrecy. And when you operate in secrecy, that means a need to know. And so I sense if they had disclosed what they were doing behind these secret chambers, their stuff would have been protected possibly from being weaponized. Okay, that's my theory on that. If you hide in secrecy, you don't have no privacy. You don't have any protection. Your stuff can be stolen and used for weapons, and that's what happened. Tesla, I keep bringing him up. Tesla is perfect example of that. And I'm sure all of them, actually. All of their technology was stolen, okay? So, in other words, I'm having fun with this. It's so amazing to be a self-educator because, like I said, I can look up anything I want. And I don't have to be concerned about being told what to read and what not to read. And again, like some of these philosophers and scientists and whatever field they were in, they still Now, let's talk about Einstein, since Einstein is everyone loves to put Einstein on their lips, and act as though they know this person, when in actuality all they may be doing is picking up their impulses. Okay, all of us have, I told you, a storage bank, and within those storage banks are impulses, okay, of information that anyone in the right frequency can pick it up. Okay, and it's curious because if some people will claim that they know Einstein more than anyone else per se, or because they're going by what was written, and who knows if it was in his language, that was his work that was written, because a lot of people did not, when this man was alive, no one asked the appropriate questions. So now his theory still stands. No one solved it. Has anyone solved it? To me, if you relate so much to certain people, you ought to be able to progress forward and solve their issues. Isn't that right? Or their complex theories. Okay, that's all I'm saying. So physics is a hot topic, which it ought to be. Physics is what's going to move us forward. And I'm telling you, all of this has something to do, in my opinion, with sounds and tones. Okay, sounds and tones. So at some point, when we're ready and open to stuff, we'll go into that, because I think that's all everyone else, because remember, we only live for 100 years, so it's going to be very difficult to, if that, because no one is working in a laboratory per se at 100 years old, right? Most of them, is that physical limitation that we are cursed with. I told you that we are all genetically modified human beings, and our lifespans have been intentionally tampered with and manipulated. All right, so again, I'm having fun with all of this. This is fun. This is what I think a classroom ought to be, is where you are free flowing and you are asking questions. If you can't get that answer, see if you can research it, or see if you can contemplate it, cultivate it yourself, and take advantage of the frequency of the impulses that are for everybody to dial into. Okay? It's not, no one on this planet is better than anybody else. Okay, and I know a lot of people cannot seem to get over that. That's fine. I mean, that's their issue, not mine or anybody else, that are operating off of genuine righteousness and care about people and humanity, and they care about universal love to people. In other words, everybody is important. It doesn't matter what you're going through, what your struggles are, whether it's your mental illness, your gender, your economic situation. Okay? Everything about all of us is important and deserves the benefit of the doubt. Now, I'm not saying that you need to hang around those that are unconsciously they're unconscious actually, but they intentionally promote self-hate in the guise. They wrap it up in like I said, coded language. Okay, like saying ghetto. Ghetto is a coded language. Okay, and being so concerned about gender and femininity or masculinity, that's coded language. Okay, being so concerned about what women are doing all the time. And it's usually men that are concerned more so about what women are doing instead of worrying about what men are doing or not doing is the most important thing. Okay, how can we get over this male degeneration? Well, what a lot of men do, or they call themselves men, they like to point fingers at the woman and say it's the woman's problem that men are degenerating. You understand that? And that's a form of gaslighting, which now is you can use it as cleric, that word I introduced earlier. Let's see where I put that. It's a modern day cause and effect of language that is not gaslighting anymore. It's clerics. They're clerics, and they can disguise themselves, because the generation, if you know anything about cause and effect, degeneration can morph itself in different type of behaviors and actions. Okay, so in other words, words evolve as well, or actually behaviors and actions. So you have to evolve your words, your tones, and your sounds, and your language. Okay, so stay conscious. That's all I want and wish for. Stay conscious. Pay attention to the language, the sounds, and the tones. Okay, and why certain groups of people, mostly degenerate males, blame women for their degeneracy. Okay, and they get upset when women come together and do it, or even talk. Like they're getting bothered by when certain women's coming out and sharing their stories, they get bothered by it. It becomes breaking news. But men do it all the time with their rambling and, and talking incoherently. All right? So, again, pay attention to the sounds and the tones. Elevate your language. Pay attention to coded language. And trust what you see, hear, sense, and receive, as well as all the other languages out there. Okay? Degeneracy can evolve too, by the way, in a negative fashion, and that's why I say it's morphing itself into being more inhumane, even though these characters that are in that materialness are still human beings. But they are dangerous. Okay, they're dangerous. And I'm picking it up even from people that ought to know better too. And they're the worst kind. The ones that ought to know better are the ones that are appearing to causing the most harm to children, to women, to the elderly. Okay? So that's what I advocate for, is to protect, to defend, and to love. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love. And trust me, I will be back.